Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Hope you guys been enjoying the content on the channel as of late. This one's hopefully gonna be a little bit laid back. I'm just trying to relax a little bit. Just out to see a film, about to see Dune, so we'll see how that goes. All 3 hours of it, so hopefully that will be worth the experience. But I've been I wanted to do this for a while, just because it discusses a franchise that I grew up with as a kid, and obviously still very much like. But it's a certain part of that franchise that people and even fans alike take issue with, and that is, of course, would be the live action films from the Transformers franchise. And we've actually discussed them before on this channel. Sorry, what just happened? Sorry, I guess some guy was watching. I don't know what just happened, but anyways, we discussed some of the Transformers films on this channel before. Specifically, we reviewed Rise of the Beasts, which was okay. It was definitely one of the better of the Transformer films. I still would give the best overall to Bumblebee, Travis Knight's take. I think that's easily the best, just because there's more of a sense of bondage and a sense of just overall resonance to that particular film. But the issue, of course, with Transformers and just the film world is, of course, the Michael Bay films, which are the first film and second, third, fourth, and fifth. And I can't really make an argument for the fourth or fifth one, because they're just bad. I mean, they have very little value to me, especially the fifth one. The fifth one is just especially bad. So I can't make an argument for those. However, I feel as though that I can make an argument for the first three films, because I actually don't hate. Sorry, I just got to park correctly. There we go. I actually am not a hater of the first three films. I know people have their issues, specifically with the second film, Revenge of the Fallen, but I actually can make a case for all three of them, and it's going to be a pretty umbrella sort of analysis, because quite frankly, my opinion of the first three films is simply this. I think that all three of them have the same faults as they do the same strengths. And in essence, even though narratively speaking and generally by production, attention to detail and stuff like that, there are definitely shades of differences with each of those films that create some kind of distinction, but ultimately you can watch those films in a vacuum and they're pretty much personality-wise the same. They all have the same behaviors at play. And we'll start with the first film, obviously. The first film, releasing in 2007, just called Transformers. The first legit Transformers film actually came out in 1986, just Transformers the movie, which was at a time where cartoons were branching into feature-length films, and Transformers was one of them. G.I. Joe had a film out around the same time. So that's the first one, and probably still the best one, purely with its nostalgia and just its heavy emphasis on 80s, But the first of the live-action Transformers films in 2007 is disposable, but not forgettable either. It's not a film that I would call. It's not a film that I would label awful, or just flat out bad. I think that it's just fine, I mean, by aesthetic, by just the overall visuals, that's something of a unique quality that it possesses, being the first to really showcase these really detail-oriented Transformers. even though obviously they are very different compared to what you usually know with Transformers, which are much more like blockier like designs. These have much more sharp edges to them, little details here and there, and it's obviously a mixed bag. Some people really don't like they call Bayformers, and then there's some that love them, and there's some like me who are just like, it's fine. They're not terrible. And actually, my entryway into Transformers was Michael Bay's Transformers, so I kind of have a bias in that. Like, that was where I started. So I don't take too much issue with just the overall looks of the Transformers, and the personality wise, they're not as they're not as annoying as some people say. We'll get to the second film, and there are definitely issues that we can address, but at least in the first film, though, they seemed, at least by just one sentence, they at least have some developments given to them. There's the leader, there's the young one, there's the medic, there's the guy who likes the guns, and then there's the black one. I don't know how you refer to Jazz in the first film, but I don't know. But I guess you could say the cool one. So, but character-wise, also, you have performances that range from just to you have Shia LaBeouf, Josh Duhamel, and John Turturro, who easily is the best of all these movies. John Turturro is just having a fun time doing these movies. He knows it's kind of like Anthony Hopkins in the fifth film. Like, he understands the value of what he's doing. He understands literally what he's having to do. He's not doing Shakespeare. He's not doing something quite serious. It's just, hey, it's giant robots. Let's just have fun with this. And in turn, we're having fun with it, thankfully. So, and story-wise, I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's the mechanics that you would find all of these films. There's a MacGuffin. In the case of the first film, it's the Allspark, and at least there they try to establish some sort of background with the Transformers being birthed from the Allspark. The Decepticons wanted it. The Autobots also wanted to try to revive their homeworld. Humans get involved. Blah blah blah. So it's a standard little thing. Little story. So it's easy. It's more cohesive and more, like, at least there's more of like a purpose, a function to the human characters in the story. So the first film was fine. It's okay. Now let's get to Revenge of the Fallen. Now, Revenge of the Fallen is the one that everyone will say is the worst of the Transformers films. I would disagree on that point. I would say that the fifth film, The Last Night, is easily the worst of the Transformers films, because that's where Michael Bay just flat out didn't care. In the case of Revenge of the Fallen, people have to remember that this was done during the writer's strike. So there was some restrictions, and I understand that it was mainly Michael Bay who made it so to continue forward with making that film. I mean, they probably could have delayed it if they wanted to. They probably were, studio was probably recommending him to delay the film, but he insisted on working on it, and Revenge of the Fallen came out in the state that it came out in, and at least for me anyway, as I have said up front, I think all these films, generally speaking, are the same, and I think Revenge of the Fallen is more or less the same as I feel with the first film. It's literally down to the performances. The performances are pretty much the same. Shia LaBeouf, Josh Duhamel, and John Turturro are the good points. The rest, Megan Fox and what have you, not the good points. What else is good about this film? That's also just like the first film. The aesthetics, the visuals are great. Love the fight scenes. Same with the first film, really, and like the fight scenes there. Can't really tell what's going on for the most part. Sometimes it's like I don't know where the punches are landing and stuff like that. And personality-wise, for the Transformers, also, at least there's some varying distinctions. Now and kind of again maybe similar to how I feel with Jazz. you get introduced to the second film with Skits and Mudflap, who of course have been like just flagged up with many controversies and accusations about them being walking stereotypes and stuff like that. I don't know how true that is. I've heard some people find it not that offensive, and then a lot of people say it's offensive. I'm kind of neutral on it. I mean, I don't look at them and say, oh, let's I mean, there's cringe. The word you're looking for is cringe, but I don't know if I would go as far as to say it's offensive, you know. I don't know. I mean, Bay's humor has always been rather crude. I mean, if there's anything more that I would find kind of like offensive or just like strange was, like some of the weird plot points with the humans, like the parents like going to his college, and then the mom like getting like a weed brownie or something like that. Like that scene was just weird. And then John Turturro's ass. I think that's enough said. Like stuff like that, I take more issue with than the actual Transformers, because at least there they have something of personality, you know. So, and plot wise, again, it's pretty similar to the first film, where we have a MacGuffin introduced, humans get involved, and eventually, big action sequences start to play out. Humans are involved. Literally, Sam is in the middle of it all again. So, again, similar film, and to my feeling about it, it's rather the same. It's okay. It's not great. It's certainly not. I wouldn't qualify it as like good. It's again just like I feel about the first film, disposable, but not forgettable. Again, some of the visual value there and performance-wise, not super annoying, but again, very similar. Now let's go to Dark of the Moon. Dark of the Moon, was a lot of course correcting. They got rid of the twins, which a lot of people didn't like. Michael Bay like said publicly that the second film was just dog shit. He thought it was terrible. They let fans down, so they wanted to improve. So they went and tried to do Dark of the Moon, and once again, very similar structure, same performances once again that I found to be the good points in like Shia LaBeouf, Josh Duhamel, John Turturro, and instead of Megan Fox being this after she compared Michael Bay to Hitler, we got Rosie Huntington-Whiteley, and well, she subs in as one of the worst points in those movies, because Megan Fox. I would argue that Rosie Huntington-Whiteley is worse than Megan Fox, because at least Megan Fox attempted to do some acting in the second film. I remember the scene where like they were hiding from him and Sam were hiding from like the Decepticons when they were in the desert and stuff like that, and she's like having this like big moment where she's like holding her mouth, that whole like acting thing where you're like trying to like get all fearful and shit. Like at least there she's trying. Rosie Huntington-Whiteley, not really trying. So yeah. And again, I would argue with the third film, the aesthetics here are just great. Aesthetically, the film looks gorgeous. I think just by visuals alone, it's some of the best VFX you'll see in recent years. And again, Transformer-wise, personality-wise, the action, like, what I'm trying to illustrate with all these movies is that they all pretty much follow in the same formulas, and they're all within the same sphere. So my feelings about them are just one and the same. If you like I've pointed out, the same performances work. The same performances don't work. The aesthetics are always good. The fights are usually fun, even though I can't tell sometimes what's going on. At least then there's some sort of action taking place, and at least by just details, it's interesting. I like the overall attention to detail. I don't like the crude humor that's implemented throughout all these movies. I think that also, just for another thing, I think that they're way too long. Each one of them, I think, is way too long. they need to be condensed, and a lot of the plot points, the human plot points, feel very unnecessary and just flat out are just strange. So like in the third film, it's like Sam trying to like impress his girl, even though you got the girl. Like I don't know. So that's what my case is for all three of these movies, is that they're generally the same film, and within that, my opinion doesn't really go up or down. It's only when you get to the fourth and fifth film is when things started to go down. But with the first three films, I can't say here and say I hate them. I know that a lot of you guys hate the Transformers films, like all of them, and maybe it's just where I was as a kid, you know, just at a young age, being introduced. Like Dark of the Moon was my pathway into Transformers, so maybe there's some bias going on. But I think that the first three films are just fine because, well, they all act the same. And but with the first film being fine and the other two films wishing to share in that personality and that mentality, I find similar strengths and similar weaknesses in the second and third film. So I can't sit here and say I hate these movies. I can't say I hate them. At least the first three. Fourth and fifth one, ugh. But then we got better with Bumblebee and Rise of the Beast. So I have a little bit different opinion. It's obviously probably biased just because of where I watched these films when I was a kid. So obviously there's a little bit more of a connection to the films than I do with something else, you know. So, but that's how I feel about it. So, but you guys let me know your thoughts on the Transformers films. If you guys have seen them, specifically 1 through 3, if you've seen all of them, just let me know your thoughts about the Transformers franchise in the comment section below. And I know there's a new Transformers film coming out this year, Transformers 1. Curious about that one. It's going to be animated, different voices attached to it, so we'll see how that one goes. But let me know all things Transformers in the comment section below. And that's going to be it for me, guys. Going to go check out Dune now. We'll see how that goes. And yeah, once this video will probably be out like way after I've seen Dune, so you guys probably will know my opinion. So hopefully it's good, but we'll see. But that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in, and until then, I will catch you guys in the next video.